What if I told you the difference between a global fashion empire thriving or just completely collapsing under its own weight comes down to identifying the specific neckline of a single shirt in under 4 hours?
I mean, that sounds completely absurd, but it's actually the reality of the industry right now.
Right. Because, when you or I click buy now on a fashion app, there's this illusion of total frictionless magic. You see a jacket, you tap a button, and boom, 2 days later, it's sitting on your porch.
Yeah, it feels entirely effortless from the outside.
Exactly. But today, we are going to shatter that illusion because this deep dive is brought to you by AI Opportune, and we are going behind the curtain.
And it is a messy curtain to pull back.
Oh, totally. Look, if you want to keep getting practical AI breakthroughs, real business case studies, and the actionable strategies you actually need to stay ahead in an AI-driven world, you need to subscribe to AI Opportune. And today's mission.
We're looking at a massive transformation.
Yes, we are taking a deep dive into an incredible case study from their resources. How India's fashion e-commerce giant, Myntra, completely re-engineered its business. I mean, we're talking about a massive platform here, backed by Flipkart and Walmart, moving inventory for over 50 million active users.
That's a staggering scale.
Uh-huh.
And what makes the Myntra story so compelling is exactly how they deployed artificial intelligence to actually manage all of that.
Right, because they didn't just build a fun little chatbot.
Exactly. Right now, if you look across the corporate landscape, most companies are getting entirely distracted by the flashy, consumer-facing applications of AI. They're, buying into the novelty.
Like those quirky conversational bots that pop up on the bottom right of your screen and pretend to be human.
Right. Or tools that generate funny promotional images. But Myntra did something fundamentally different. They looked past the novelty and embedded AI directly into their core business infrastructure.
So not the flashy stuff.
No, they pointed the technology at the unglamorous, heavy lifting behind-the-scenes plumbing of the company.
The plumbing. Exactly. We are talking about the operational mechanisms that actually make the business function. But before we get into the specific nuts and bolts of what they built, I think we really need to establish why they needed such a radical architectural shift in the first place.
Because the old way was literally breaking.
Yeah, the sheer scale of modern e-commerce and especially fast fashion, it just completely breaks traditional manual workflows, doesn't it?
It shatters them completely.
Yeah.
I mean, think about the operational nightmare Montreux is facing on a daily basis. They are managing thousands of global brands.
And fashion moves so fast.
Exactly. This isn't like selling home hardware or electronics where a product life cycle might be a stable year or two. This is fashion. Trends change weekly.
Sometimes daily.
Yeah, sometimes daily, based on a single viral social media post.
Right, but why were their legacy systems so uniquely terrible at handling this? I was looking at the metrics from the sources, and they were just wild.
The bottlenecks were massive.
Like, if a new seller wanted to join the platform, the onboarding process was taking 10 to 15 days. That's 2 weeks just to get in the door.
And that's just the start.
Yeah. Then, manual cataloging was taking them 24 hours just to tag items. And if there was a sudden spike in demand, their logistics simulations were taking 48 hours to run. I mean, wait, why did it take 2 whole days just to run a simulation? That sounds like trying to restock a massive, constantly shifting global wardrobe while blindfolded and wearing oven mitts.
That is a very accurate, if terrifying visual. But it sounds archaic because it was purely a limitation of human bandwidth and traditional linear computing.
Okay, so just too much data for humans to crunch.
Let's break down that 48-hour simulation. A logistics simulation isn't just looking at a map. If a specific green bomber jacket suddenly goes viral in Mumbai, the system has to calculate the traveling salesperson problem on steroids.
Oh, wow.
It has to crunch thousands of variables, right? Current inventory at dozens of warehouses, real-time trucking routes, weather delays, the physical capacity of delivery vehicles.
All at the same time.
Exactly. And the cost efficiency of moving that specific item versus another. Legacy systems require humans to manually input these constraints and run sequential models. When you have tens of thousands of items, the math just physically takes days to compute.
And when fashion moves at lightning speed, a 48-hour delay isn't just a minor annoyance. That is an existential threat.
It could kill the business.
Literally. If that green bomber jacket goes viral on a Tuesday and your system takes until Thursday to even calculate how to move the stock to the right warehouses, the trend is already over. The customer has scrolled past it and bought it from a competitor.
Precisely. The moment has passed.
So this dire need for speed, this life or death agility, is what really birthed their custom AI engine.
Yeah, they realize you cannot simply throw more human labor at a 48-hour math problem or, a 24-hour data entry backlog.
Right, hiring 1,000 more interns to manually tag clothing attributes in a spreadsheet doesn't fix the underlying friction.
No, it just makes a very expensive spreadsheet. You need a fundamental architectural shift to how the data is processed.
Okay, let's unpack this. Throwing bodies at the problem failed. So what was the actual fix? Instead of just listing off abstract business units, walk me through the life cycle of a single garment moving through this newly built AI system.
Sure.
Let's take that viral green bomber jacket. Where does it start?
It starts with the vendor trying to get that jacket onto the platform. Under the old system, this was that 10 to 15-day nightmare of manual paperwork, contract reviews, and category approvals.
It's just killing them.
Right. So Myntra built the AI Seller Growth Hub. Now, when the vendor uploads their business documents and initial product lists, AI models specifically trained on legal and operational documents instantly verify the data.
Just immediately.
Pretty much. They cross-reference it against compliance databases and automatically set up the seller profile. That waiting period dropped from over 2 weeks to under 2 days.
Okay, so the vendor is approved almost instantly. But now the jacket is in the system, and it's basically invisible until someone tags it. That was the 24-hour bottleneck you mentioned. How did they solve that?
They deployed an automated catalog infrastructure powered by advanced computer vision. And this is where the how becomes really important.
Right, because it's not just taking a picture.
Exactly. This isn't just a basic image scanner. When the vendor uploads a raw, unstructured photo of that green bomber jacket, the computer vision model breaks the image down into mathematical representations, or vectors.
Vectors, okay.
It analyzes the pixel patterns and compares them against millions of previously cataloged garments. Within milliseconds, it can automatically extract up to 40 distinct visual attributes.
Wait, 40 distinct visual traits, like a
Right.
specific neckline or fabric, just from a raw garment image. That sounds like replacing an entire warehouse of data entry clerks. Is this transition purely about cutting labor costs, or is there a bigger play here?
What's fascinating here is that while efficiency and cost savings are undeniably great byproducts of this technology, the ultimate goal isn't just cost-cutting. The true goal is agility.
Agility over just saving a buck.
Yes, because they also layered on contextual shopping AI. Since the system now fundamentally understands the jacket, it can cross-reference it with real-time browsing trends and suggest mathematically complementary jeans and sneakers.
So it's basically an automated personal stylist.
And a tailor. They use personalized size recommendations, covering 85% of apparel to slash return rates.
That's huge for the bottom line. Okay, so the vendor is onboarded, the jacket is tagged beautifully, the AI paired it with jeans, and the customer bought the right size. But what happens when 50,000 people do that at the exact same time and we hit that logistics nightmare we talked about earlier?
This is where their supply chain network modeling comes in. Instead of legacy models running sequential calculations, they use logistics AI to run parallel simulations.
Crunching all those variables at once.
Everything.
Yeah.
Weather, warehouse stock, truck capacity. It spits out the most efficient redistribution plan. They squeeze that 48-hour logistics simulation into a single hour.
1 hour. That is insane.
When you compress massive operational decision-making from 2 full days down to 60 minutes, you fundamentally change how a business interacts with reality. You are no longer reacting to what happened 2 days ago.
You are moving at the exact speed of the consumer.
Exactly.
And to keep that whole system running, the sources mention a sort of meta layer, right?
Yeah.
Software velocity.
Yeah, Myntra's own software engineers are using generative AI tools to assist with writing code, testing new features, and running system analytics.
So the system that builds the AI is being built faster by AI.
It creates this compounding feedback loop of speed, resulting in a 40% increase in how fast they can deploy new platform features.
It's an incredible life cycle to trace. But looking at the broader research we pulled, this agility, it's no longer just Myntra's proprietary secret weapon, is it?
Not at all.
It really feels like this is becoming the absolute baseline for survival. The entire e-commerce ecosystem seems to be quietly undergoing this exact same transformation in their own plumbing.
You are absolutely right. If you zoom out from this specific case study, you see a massive macro shift across the entire industry. This isn't an isolated incident.
It's an unavoidable evolution.
It is an unavoidable evolution in modern commerce.
Yeah, the industry titans are all moving in lockstep here. Let's look at what the other giants are doing, because we really need to understand the mechanics of this arms race.
Amazon is a great example to start with.
Oh, for sure. They are using generative AI to synthesize those massive, endless walls of customer reviews. Instead of a customer having to read through 400 conflicting reviews to figure out if a shoe runs small, the AI ingests all that natural language, understands the context, and generates one concise paragraph summarizing the consensus.
It's a huge time saver for the buyer.
And on the back end, they are also using AI to automate seller listing creation and run their own hyper-complex supply chain.
And, it's not just the mega retailers doing this. Look at Shopify.
Right, they power the little guys.
Exactly. They provide the infrastructure for millions of smaller, everyday store owners. They recently rolled out Shopify Magic. It uses generative AI to instantly write SEO-optimized storefront copy, generate product images, and auto-generate catalog tags.
So they are democratizing that operational speed.
Totally. Then you have Zalando leaning heavily into computer vision and conversational AI to give highly personalized sizing advice and trend-based merchandising.
And ASOS. This one blew my mind. They are applying machine learning models to power dynamic pricing and visual search.
Visual search is a game changer.
It really is. For anyone who doesn't know, visual search means you can literally take a photo of a stranger wearing a cool jacket on the street, upload it to the ASOS app, and the AI translates that image into a vector database query to instantly find that exact jacket or the closest visual match in their inventory.
Just from a random street photo.
It is wild. It's literally an operational arms race. If you are a business still relying on manual spreadsheets for your inventory, forecasting, or cataloging, you are bringing a butter knife to a laser fight.
That is a great way to put it. If we connect this to the bigger picture, the leaders who are pulling ahead in this market share, one very distinct, undeniable trait.
Which is?
They aren't building novelty toys. They aren't slapping a generic chatbot on their homepage, writing a press release about it and calling it a day.
Right. They aren't just checking the AI box.
Exactly. They are embedding AI deeply into the friction points of their operations to cut cycle times from days to hours.
Okay, I hear that. And it's really easy to look at a trillion-dollar giant like Amazon or a 50 million user behemoth like Myntra and say, sure, that's great for them. They have billions of dollars in venture capital and literal armies of software engineers to build custom vector databases.
But that's a cop-out.
Yeah, exactly. Because how does the listener, someone running a mid-sized brand or a growing agency, actually apply these massive enterprise strategies to their own operations? We promised a practical blueprint at the very beginning of this deep dive.
And the case studies we gathered actually deliver a fantastic framework for exactly that. You do not need a billion-dollar R&D budget to apply the underlying principles of what Myntra did.
So what's the first step?
Implementing enterprise AI requires a mindset shift more than anything. You have to stop looking at AI as a magic, single-use tool you just purchase and plug in, and start viewing it as a continuous, integrated operational loop.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The sources actually provide a literal step-by-step rollout checklist for building this operational AI system. Break down this continuous loop for us. What does it actually look like?
The architecture is a very clear six-step loop. Step 1, identify the bottleneck. Where is the manual friction costing you the most time?
Okay, find the pain point.
Right. Step 2, data ingestion. How does the raw, messy information actually enter your system? Step 3, AI model processing. This is where the machine does the heavy lifting, analyzing the data based on its training.
Makes sense.
Step 4, automated action. The AI doesn't just think, it acts. It drafts the response, tags the photo, or suggests the logistics move. Step 5, human review. This is a critical safety net we definitely need to discuss.
Humans in the loop.
Exactly. And step 6, optimization. Feeding the final results back into the model to make it smarter for the next run.
Okay, I want to make that incredibly concrete for you, the listener. Let's look at the direct-to-consumer, or DTC, fashion scenario the sources mapped out.
Perfect example.
Imagine this loop in action for a smaller, independent brand. Step 1, upload. The brand uploads a batch of raw product photos from a recent shoot.
Right. Data ingestion.
Step 2, analysis. The vision models instantly identify 30-plus visual traits, the fabric weave, the specific cut, the hem length. Step 3, generation. The AI takes those traits and automatically drafts SEO-optimized product descriptions and generates local tags for the website.
Which used to take hours.
Exactly. Step 4, approval. A human editor reviews the generated content on a dashboard and hits approve with a single click. The outcome, a product listing that used to take 3 hours of manual typing and uploading goes live in 4 minutes.
That workflow is the absolute perfect microcosm of the massive Myntra case study, just scaled down so that any size business can deploy it tomorrow using off-the-shelf AI APIs.
It's totally doable.
But to actually build that successfully, the sources offer a very practical rollout checklist. And rule number 1 is to target heavy admin. You have to hunt down those manual workflows that are taking days to complete. That's where you will find your highest return on investment.
Right, but looking closely at this practical rollout checklist, I actually have to push back hard on step 2.
Oh, why is that?
The checklist explicitly says you must clean your data first.
Yeah.
It says you have to standardize all your product tags, attributes, and spreadsheets before you even introduce the AI.
Yes, that is crucial.
But doesn't that completely contradict the whole appeal of buying an AI in the first place? I mean, shouldn't these incredibly advanced trillion-parameter AI models be smart enough to just magically figure out our messy, unstructured spreadsheet data for us? Why do we have to do the manual labor of cleaning it up first?
That's a brilliant question, and honestly, it is the #1 trap that businesses fall into when adopting this technology. They think AI is a magic wand that fixes bad business logic.
Right, like it'll just sort it all out.
But it won't. AI is an incredibly powerful multiplier. But if you point a massive multiplier at chaotic, unstructured data, you don't magically get order. You just get faster, more confident chaos.
Oh, wow. Wait, faster chaos.
Faster chaos.
Yeah.
AI fundamentally requires a standardized foundation to build from. Let me give you a practical example.
Sure.
If your legacy database calls a shirt color navy in one column, dark blue in another, and bluish black somewhere else, the AI is going to struggle to accurately forecast trends or automate your tags.
Because it thinks those are 3 different things.
Exactly. I think those might be 3 entirely different product lines. It needs a shared, unified language to function efficiently. And that realization leads directly to the final and perhaps most important point on the checklist: keep human oversight.
So the terrifying headlines are wrong. We aren't just indiscriminately firing all the data entry clerks and letting the machines run the company.
Absolutely not. You don't fire them, you elevate them. You transition your human teams away from being manual data entry drones, and you turn them into high-level quality control editors.
So in that D2C example.
Right. The human is no longer staring at a photo and typing out 30 visual traits into a spreadsheet. They are simply reviewing the AI's work, managing the exceptions, catching the weird edge cases, and giving that one-click approval.
You want the AI handling the rule and the humans handling the exceptions.
Exactly. Finally, the checklist strongly advises to start small. Do not try to boil the ocean. Test this AI loop in one single department first, like just your vendor onboarding, so you could accurately measure the actual time saved before you try to rip out the plumbing company-wide.
So what does this all mean? If we step back and synthesize the main lesson from Myntra's massive architectural overhaul, it really boils down to this. AI's true lasting value for your business comes from speed and deep operational integration, not from surface-level novelty.
It's not about the chatbots.
No, it's entirely about fixing the plumbing, not just applying a new coat of paint. The call to action for you listening right now is to go audit your own business this week. Find your biggest operational bottlenecks, those heavy, soul-crushing admin tasks that are taking up days of your team's time, because those are your high ROI automation targets.
Start there.
And remember, if you want to keep getting these practical blueprints, real business case studies, and actionable strategies delivered straight to you, make sure you subscribe to AI Opportune. They are the go-to resource that made this deep dive possible.
This raises an important question. We've spent this time seeing exactly how AI can compress these massive legacy bottlenecks like cataloging, logistics math, and vendor onboarding from weeks down to mere hours.
Yeah.
But I want you to think about this. If every major e-commerce company, from the behemoths like Amazon and Myntra to the millions of smaller shops on Shopify, successfully adopts this exact same operational architecture, what becomes the new bottleneck?
Oh, that's a wild thought.
Right. When operational speed is totally commoditized across the entire industry and literally everyone is moving at the exact speed of AI, how will your business differentiate itself next?